And welcome to the Public Service Commission meeting. Today is September 9th, 2025, and this is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Alabama Public Service Commission. For the record, the public was notified of today's meeting by notice dated July 30th, 2025. We welcome all of you and thank you for taking the time to be with us today, either in person or remotely. I want to introduce our commissioners present today. Place 1, Commissioner Jerry Oden. Place 2, Commissioner Chris Beaker. And I'm Cynthia Lee Almond. We also have joining us up here Executive Director and Chief Administrative Law Judge John Garner and Secretary Mr. Walter Thomas. At this point, let's please stand for the prayer, and then that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear God, bless our proceedings today. Give us wisdom to know what is just and the strength to do what is right. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have a couple of important dates coming up this month. I just wanted to recognize. First, I'd like to take a moment and pause to remember the tragedy of September 11th, 2001. I can't believe it's been 24 years since that dark day in our history. Most of us in the room remember that, not all of us. Some of you are too young, so that is not me. We will always remember and honor the lives lost, the bravery of our first responders, and the resilience of our nation. As we conduct the people's business today, may we never forget the sacrifices made and remain steadfast in our commitment to the values of freedom, unity, and service. We also have coming up Constitution Day on September the 17th. That will mark 238 years since the signing of our nation's founding documents in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That was in 1787. And as we conduct our work today, we acknowledge the guiding framework that has long shaped this nation. So, next we will have a motion to approve the minutes from our August 5th meeting. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second. All right.
Mr. Almond?
Do we say yes or approve? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Oden?
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker?
Yes.
All right, thank you. With no further business or old business, let's move on to the new business. And we are going to start with Utility Services Division, represented by Mr. Jeff Johnston. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Today I'll be presenting the Utility Services Agenda dated September 2nd, 2025. Beginning with Consumer Services Report. For electric and gas inquiries, Alabama Power and Spire, Alabama were the same as last year. Spire Gulf was up from 0 to 3 or 4, excuse me. But that's not unusual as we start to get into the fall season. Moving to telecommunications, basic service only, there was 1 inquiry. For other retail services, there were 3. Referred inquiries were 8 for a total of 11. Moving to the gas agenda. Under docket 18046 and 18328, Spire, Alabama, Inc. Division Report on Rate RSE as of July 31st, 2025. Based on preliminary figures, the projected RSE return on average common equity for the rate year ending September 30, 2025 was 9.97, and this was slightly above the range. Under docket 28101, Spire Gulf, Inc., Division Report on Rate RSE as of July 31st, 2025. Based on preliminary figures, the projected RSE return on average common equity for the rate year ending September 30, 2025 was 9.00%, and this was below the range. For
But-
neat,
May I stop you right there and ask
Sure.
a question? So, in both, one report, the authorized return on equity was above the range, the allowed range, and I believe it was also, no, it was below in the second one, as you said. Remind us how and when we pull the trigger to adjust rates.
Yeah, under RSE, there are points of test for each of the companies throughout the year, and they differ between the two companies. Spire, Alabama is done quarterly, March, June, and September, and Spire Gulf is April and September. By rules of RSE, if during one of those points of tests they exceed the range, then rates are reset and money is given back to ratepayers. Also, under the terms of RSE, during the March, June for Spire, Alabama, and April for Spire Gulf, if they're below the range, there's no adjustment to the rates. The only adjustments to rates for either company is made on their December 1st filing, which follows their budget filings and review by the commission.
Okay, so for Spire, Alabama, which was above the range, I believe, we will look at that again in December, you're saying? And-
Well, we'll also look at it at September. If they exceed the range and at the end of September, that would trigger a give back to the customers. Same with Spire Gulf.
Okay, so this is September, but you're saying the September numbers?
September numbers,
Which we'll
correct.
hear in what, November?
November.
Okay.
November.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Generally, we'll get closing numbers about 3 weeks after the end of the month, and it'll be on the following month's agenda for the commission meeting.
Okay, thank you very much.
My next item is under docket U 5489, Spire, Alabama, Inc. Approval of fourth revised sheet number 16 superseding third revised sheet number 16, sixth revised sheet number 17 superseding fifth revised sheet number 17, sixth revised sheet number 20 superseding fifth revised sheet number 20, sixth revised sheet number 59 superseding fifth revised sheet number 59, fourth revised sheet number 116 superseding third revised sheet number 116, addressing the penalties and fees for unauthorized overrun gas during periods of curtailment of the tariff applicable to the gas service of Spire, Alabama, Inc. So that's kind of a long way of getting to the company has penalties in place when we run into situations similar to a couple of years ago where we have extremely cold weather and extremely high demand. The main pipelines one of the main pipelines that feeds Spire, Alabama is Southern Natural Gas, and we have a limited capacity or a certain amount of capacity that can be supplied through that pipeline. And Spire, Alabama determines that capacity based off of residential usage at an extremely low temperature and the budgeted firm commitment from its industrial customers. And we have several industrial customers that have opted for interruptible service. They get a little bit lower rate, but in doing that, they agree to interrupt their service in times of need. This last cold spell, we had many of our industrial customers that simply refused to reduce down to their minimum. And what we found is that the penalty provisions in the tariff weren't sufficient to cause the companies to make a decision to curtail. It was cheaper for them to pay the penalties than it was for what they would lose production-wise by not curtailing. One of the things that Southern Natural does is they impose a penalty on capacity when we exceed the capacity that we're authorized. And those penalties can be fairly steep. By this change, what it does is it changes the penalty that interruptible customers pay to an incremental increase in the charge for gas plus the maximum penalty charged by Southern Natural or the other providers, so that the increased cost that is seen by Spire is not imposed on the residential, the rate use ratepayers, and forces them into making a decision to curtail. Now, what we've seen is many of these companies have come back and either gone all of their capacity to firm commitment or significantly raised their firm commitment so that if they had to curtail, they could maintain minimum operations without affecting their service.
Thank you for that explanation. That makes a lot of sense. Let me ask you this. So the industry that's chosen to be an interruptible, they can choose that, right? To start with, interruptible or not interruptible, and
Correct.
they pay a different rate based on their choice. If at the time, is there an option if you've chosen interruptible to then, after we implement an increased penalty, is there an option for them to change that they might want to be an uninterruptible?
Yes, at any time they can come back to the company and request to basically renegotiate their contract for service and go completely uninterruptible or increase. Many will maintain a minimum level of firm gas so that if they have to curtail, particularly in the steel industry, if they have to curtail, they can at least keep kilns running at a temperature that doesn't cost them 2-3 weeks to get back up and running. But at any time, they can come back and request to renegotiate to 100% firm gas.
Okay. And again, the whole goal of, I guess, this policy would be in times of high demand to be able to restrict use of large consumers of the gas so that everybody, I guess, has the opportunity to have the service.
The main impetus of this was there were significant penalties charged by Southern Natural that by the terms of our PGA, Purchase Gas Agreement, those charges were pushed down to ratepayers rather than to the industrials that created the situation. So it's more of trying to share the penalty with the cause of the penalty.
Great.
And also encourage them to abide by their interruptible service. So we recommend approval.
Okay. Recommended approval. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Allman,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beagle.
Yes.
Moving to the telecommunication agenda, we have one interconnection agreement under docket U5490, Level 3 Communications LLC and Raglan Telephone Company. We recommend approval.
Okay. Any questions? Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Allman,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beagle.
Yes.
And finally, under certifications, under docket 25980, for all eligible telecommunications carriers, All eligible telecommunication carriers for higher cost universal funding seek certification for their eligibility and expenditures for the 2026 USF Connect Fund and high cost support. We recommend approval.
We need a vote on this as well.
So moved. We'll do it.
Second. Commissioner Almond,
Yeah, I guess that one's for information only, but
Commissioner Almond,
Yes,
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beagle.
Yes.
That way we go.
gave it an extra stamp of approval.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And the final item is for information only and requires no action by the commission. So if there are not any questions, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Any further questions for Mr. Johnston? Thank you very much. Next, we have the Gas Pipeline Safety Division report by Mr. Jonathan Kimbrell. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Today I'll be presenting the Gas Pipeline Safety Agenda dated September 2nd, 2025. This report will reflect GPS activities for the month of July. During the month of July, a total of 69 inspections were conducted utilizing 130 in-person days. The inspections are as follows: 15 standard inspections, 11 construction inspections, 9 operator qualification inspections, 2 public awareness inspections, 3 integrity management inspections, 3 Section 114 inspections, 7 drug and alcohol inspections, and 19 follow-ups. From the 69 inspections, 8 letters of enforcement were issued noting a total of 20 non-compliance items. There were 28 non-compliance items corrected out during the month of July. There were 2 operator training sessions for the month of July. Both of them were for polyethylene fusion. One was at South Alabama Utilities training 15 personnel, and the other was at Jacksonville Utilities training 18 personnel. There were also 2 state reportable incidents during the month of July. One was at Sylacauga Utilities Board, where a power line was able to discharge into the ground, blowing a hole in the gas main. The other was at Florence Gas, where a truck stuck a first cut / farm tap and came to rest on top of it. All other items are for information purposes only. Pending no further questions, this will conclude Gas Pipeline Safety's presentation.
May I ask you one question?
Absolutely, Commissioner.
So, under the Sylacauga Utilities Board incident, you've explained to me before that at one point we thought this was not a, quote, reportable incident, and now it is. Can you explain?
Yes, so when the report first came into Gas Pipeline Safety, we had notice of a fire, an injury, and a burning main. During the investigation, under those conditions, that would have been a federally reportable one, that we would have had to have took a much more stringent approach. But during the initial investigation, it was determined that there was a power incident that resulted in the hole of the main on the gas pipeline. Therefore, because the pipeline did not create the incident, it did not have to meet the federal threshold. But because it was on media and was reported, it met the state reportable threshold, which makes it a state level incident.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions for Mr. Kimbrell? All right. Thank you very much. Next, we have Utility Enforcement Division, Miss Amanda Sheehan. Good morning.
Morning.
You have before you the Utility Enforcement Division's agenda dated September 2nd, describing the activities performed during July. First, we will cover the railway safety section. There were 236 defects noted, 79 track defects, and 157 equipment defects. There were no violations recommended during the month. Looking at page 2, there were 3 incidents reported by the National Response Center in July. A concrete truck strike at a grade crossing that resulted in a derailment of 1 locomotive and a diesel spill of between 75 to 100 gallons with no injuries. There was a trespasser strike with fatal injuries and a bridge collapse that resulted in the derailment of 3 rail cars with no reported injuries. And regarding the bridge collapse in Huntsville, our railway safety guys learned of the incident. They notified the FRA. The FRA deployed their district bridge specialists to investigate. And the bridge collapsed under a train that was performing a shoving movement over the bridge with loaded cars. The conductor was not riding the shove at the time of the incident, and the investigation to the root cause is still under investigation right now.
Okay. And you've explained to me in the past also that our railroad people, and there has overlap with the federal railroad people, I'll just call them that. But for example, the bridge collapse or the bridge inspections is not something that we do in the state of Alabama. That's left to the federal people.
Right, like right now, the Public Service Commission does not have a bridge specialist, so we don't, we're not going to send our track guy to go inspect a bridge collapse because he's not certified to evaluate such things. So the FRA had to go inspect that one because there's quite a few disciplines that there are with the railroad inspectors, and we only employ 3 currently, which is the operating practices, track, and motive power and equipment. So that's the only 3 that we currently have. But whereas if this was a derailment and it may have been like track calls, then yes, our guys would have been there doing the investigation alongside with FRA and whoever else may be out there.
Okay.
Quick question, if you don't mind. Let me follow up on that.
Okay.
If there is a track problem with the investigation, since it's still ongoing, then we will be retroly included in that. How does that work? I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, they continue to have correspondence with FRA, and with the investigation, it just doesn't just end because we don't have an actual bridge inspector. But I think it was pretty evident that this is a bridge problem and not a track problem. Wasn't motive power and equipment problem, wasn't OP, wasn't, human factor. This was, I think, something wrong with the actual bridge integrity.
Okay.
Now, what caused that part of that to be a problem, we don't know. But it was pretty certain that it was the integrity of the bridge.
Okay. But just in future reference, if it did somehow involve the track, then we would be involved, correct?
Yes. And the thing is, though, is with railroad, cleanup starts immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to get there. Like, there's not going to be, you go out there to the track and try to see, this rail fell out here or whatever, because it's going to be gone and it's going to be cleaned up, fixed. Because, of course, that hurts their business because they can't run the trains. And especially if it's on like a passenger track where they do passenger trains too, like they get out there, they demolish the cars, it's cleaned up quickly.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving to the motor carrier services section, vehicle registration numbers, intrastate applications, and insurance filings were routine during the month. As of July 31st, 91% of Alabama carriers were registered for the 2025 UCR. Staff participated in various UCR subcommittee calls during the month. We performed an on-site audit on a passenger carrier, K3C Transportation. They have currently changed to an LLC and changed their address since they were a sole proprietor, and changed to LLC. They will need to do a transfer application or reapply to get their name changed with the commission. And pending any questions, that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Ms. Sheehan? Further questions? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next, we have the very capable Mr. John Free to deliver our Electricity Policy Division report.
Thank you, Commissioner. You have before you the Electricity Policy Division's agenda dated September 2nd, 2025. Ms. Patricia Smith will present the division's monthly update on rates RSC and ECR for Alabama Power Company.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Ms. Smith.
The first item on our agenda is the division's monthly report on rates RSE and ECR and dockets 18117, 18416, and 18148. Starting with rate RSE. Our staff performed the monthly examination of the books and records of Alabama Power Company. It was determined that the reprojected weighted return on average retail common equity was 6.52% for the 12 months ending December 31, 2025. This return is based on 7 months of actual data for January through July 2025 and 5 months of budget data for August through December 2025. The staff also performed the regular monthly review of Alabama Power's energy costs. It was determined that rate ECR was under-recovered by approximately $24 million in July 2025. Commissioner, this is our report on rates RSC and ECR.
May I ask you a quick follow-up question, the same that I asked to Mr. Johnson? So we don't actually take steps to adjust these rates until
The point of test. And with RSC for Alabama Power Company, it's December 31, 2025.
okay, and we won't know that until
It'll go into the upcoming year.
February-ish.
Yes, by
Okay.
the board.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, the next item is on our agenda is under docket U 5491. On August 20th, 2025, Alabama Power Company filed with the Alabama Public Service Commission its petition seeking authority to issue and sell preferred stock, preference stock, promissory notes, subordinated debentures, and other debt instruments, incur obligations in connection with the issuance of industrial development revenue bonds with an aggregate principal amount or stated value not to exceed $2 billion. This is normally referred to as long-term borrowings. Number 3, borrow upon the issuance of promissory notes, issue and sell commercial paper notes, and assume obligations as a guarantor of the promissory notes of Southern Electric Generating Company in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $2 billion at any one time outstanding. If approved, this new authority would remain in effect through December 31st, 2027, and supersede any remaining authority previously approved under docket U 5451, which was back in September of 23. We recommend approval.
Thank you. I believe that this item and the next item on our agenda are related, similar, and as I understand it, the Public Service Commission is authorized through and by the legislature to approve Alabama Power's petition and Southern Electric Generating Company's petition for it's their financing petition, that how much money they can borrow, and that we set that how often?
That is a, well, first of all, it's under Section 3747 of the Code of Alabama, which requires this.
Okay, that's where we
for
get
them
the
to-
authority.
Requires them to seek financing authority.
Okay,
And generally, it has been on a 2-year cycle.
okay,
So the last one was September 23. Now we're in September 25. This one will go to September 27.
okay,
Best I can recall, there's only been one instance that there was an interim request for additional financing authority,
Okay.
and that was several years ago.
okay, and so the amount that we're approving today is an amount not to exceed $2 million?
Yes, it is. You have both long-term authority and you have short-term authority, and so they are requesting both $2 billion for
$2 billion.
long-term authority and $2 billion in short-term authority. That doesn't mean they will spend that money on both of those authorities. It just means that they want the flexibility to utilize the best market available at the time. If the short-term market is offering better rates and they have some money put back on them from other securities, they are ready with short-term commercial paper to honor those putbacks. And long-term authority is various debt instruments that they utilize for their business operations. I think this past time they utilized around 1.4 billion. 600 million of that was for maturities, and the rest of it was new money for business operations. I don't think they utilized any of the short-term authority.
Okay.
So the 2 billion still sits there, and that would be surrendered.
So the amounts they're requesting today are the same as they had 2 years ago?
Yes, I believe identical.
Identical,
I believe they
okay.
requested 2 billion on both short-term and long-term, and also searchable, when we get to it in a minute, is identical.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Sorry
Okay.
for all the
No,
questions.
no. We'll move into the next one.
Well, I think we need to take a vote on that. 'Cause,
Yes,
So
we recommended approval.
I got you sidetracked. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
Okay, so the next one is similar, except for it is for Southern Electric Generating Company. So under docket U 5492, on August 20th, 2025, Southern Electric Generating Company filed with the Alabama Public Service Commission its petition seeking authority to borrow upon the issuance of promissory notes and issue and sell commercial paper notes to third-party lenders and to Alabama Power Company and Georgia Power Company in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $175 million at any one time outstanding. This is referred to as short-term borrowings. If approved, this new authority would remain in effect through December 31st, 2027, and supersede any remaining authority previously approved in docket U 5452 back in September 2023.
Any questions?
And the staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
Any further questions?
Any questions? Thank you very much.
If not, this completes our report.
I didn't. All righty. Next, we have Legal Division, presented by Administrative Law Judge Chad Mason. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I believe you're going to handle the whole agenda, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. You have before you the legal agenda. I'm going to present Judge Bentley's first. He has 6 items. I'm going to present the first 5 together for one vote. First up is docket C 21246, petition of Stallworth Logistics LLC for reinstatement of motor carrier certificate 5100, which was revoked due to petitioner's failure to maintain proper proof of liability and cargo insurance. After meeting all the requirements and criteria, I recommend a grant and reinstatement. Docket 21298, petition of Walter Trucking, Inc. for approval of cargo self-insurance. After meeting all the requirements, I recommend approval. Docket 21256, petition of Ricky Hollingsworth Excavating, Inc. for reinstatement of motor carrier certificate F4331, which was revoked due to petitioner's failure to maintain proper proof of liability insurance. After meeting all the requirements and criteria, I recommend a grant and reinstatement. Next up is docket C19366, petition of HM Southeast Concrete LLC for cancellation of motor carrier certificate B51 and F3352. I recommend a grant of cancellation as requested. And lastly, docket 33566, petition of LCS On the Move LLC, DBA LCS On the Move, for cancellation of motor carrier certificate 4181 and permit 664. I recommend cancellation as requested.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions about any of these docket items? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
All right, and lastly, for Judge Bentley's items, docket 33588, show cause proceeding for ABEC Inc. For failure to respond to audit inquiries for the 2025 UCR registration year. Commission order dated July 1st, 2025, directed ABEC to provide documentation and appear at a hearing on August 11th, 2025. ABEC failed to provide the documentation and did not appear at the hearing. I recommend an issuance of an order suspending the UCR registration of ABEC Inc. for all active years.
Are there any questions? Can I get a motion?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
And now moving on to my items, I'll take the first two separately. Docket 33599, unopposed motor carrier application of James Keith Howe, DBA J&G Taxi, for certificate to transport passengers and their baggage in special or charter taxi operation. The applicant waived its right to report and recommended order at the hearing. After meeting all the requirements and criteria, I recommend a grant of that authority.
Your motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
And next, I have docket 33608, show cause proceeding for motor carriers who failed to file annual reports for 2024 operations. I recommend an issuance of an order establishing a show cause hearing for all motor carriers who failed to file annual reports for 2024 operations.
Any questions? About how many, any idea how many that is?
I think it's 8, I
Okay.
believe, roughly.
Okay. I didn't know if we were talking 8 or 108.
I believe there was a list attached. That sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
And then, with your permission, I'll take the next two items together. They're both non-controversial. Docket 33579, petition of Fiber Assets Co. LLC for certificate of public convenience and necessity to provide telecommunication services. A hearing was held on August 11th, 2025, in which commission staff participated. After meeting all the requirements and criteria, I recommend approval. And lastly, of this docket 33419, a petition of CNS Networks LLC for extension of time to submit interconnection resale agreement. This is the petitioner's second request of an extension. I recommend approval.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
And finally, moving to the off-agenda item, it's my last item, docket 33612, show cause proceeding for Cherokee Waterworks and Gas Board to address failures to adequately respond to gas pipeline safety division notices of noncompliance with PHMSA's minimum pipeline safety regulations. I recommend an issuance of an order establishing a show cause proceeding for Cherokee Waterworks and Gas Board.
So I've asked this question before, but for the benefit of the public, can you explain why we have off-agenda items? Like, how does something appear on an how and why, and how do we make that
Well,
determination?
Agendas are usually due a week prior to, and things can come up in the interim. I believe last month you asked Judge Bentley why, and I think he gave the explanation of they're non-controversial. I wouldn't say this one meets that threshold. So it's, if we speak in generalities, it's not always, there are exceptions. In this case, I would say it's more of a safety issue. We've been going out to this facility for, I believe, since November of 24, and they still have non-compliance, and so it's prudent for not to wait till next month's agenda to go ahead and get this on the calendar.
Any further questions? Can I get a motion?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And last, but certainly not least, is our administrative items by Judge Garner.
Thank you, Madam President. Those are the only items I have to present, and those are the items that are reflected on the administrative agenda. I recommend approval, of those items.
Mind just reading that, it's just two. Can you read those for the public, please?
Yes, it's just approval of all the pending motor carrier matters, and then also the purchase of a new pool vehicle to replace an aging vehicle in the agency fleet.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we need a motion.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Almond,
Yes.
Commissioner Oden.
Yes.
Commissioner Beaker.
Yes.
That's all I have, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other new business to bring before the commission today? There being none, the next regularly scheduled commission meeting is Tuesday, October the 7th, 2025. That's your birthday?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say that.
Well, we'll have to recognize that.
I'm young.
28?
Yeah,
28, yes,
and
okay. Yes, me too. Okay, if there's no further business, then we will stand adjourned.